RSL
Whoop,
Nation.
whoop, 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 whoop.
What
What is
what's up?
good? What is good?
Everything is good. Everything RSL. Actually, that actually might be debatable today. That's a great intro. Welcome everyone. This is another episode of The Bros, and we're just glad you're here. We're I was looking on Spotify lately. And we're one of two podcasts right now that are actually recording, by the way, giving you RSL content. So just so you know, we're here for you, and make sure you tell a friend. We really
Appreciate
Yay.
appreciate everybody that does listen on the regular. So kudos to you guys.
We love you.
shout out to you. You know who you are,
Definitely.
guys. This one's gonna be a very interesting one today. I think. We do have some news. I think it's heavy news, to be honest, with transfer wise. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, yeah, we'll
We're
discuss.
jumping right in. Let's do it.
Yeah, we're just we'll jump right in, but I'm gonna give everyone the outline because everyone needs to know what we're talking about. So we're gonna talk some transfers, RSL transfers, and we might throw in some MLS transfers because there's some big names that we've mentioned before, but they become official, and I might have an opinion, and it's just a quick opinion. Um,
You
the,
opinions never. Ugh.
me, my opinions.
Sorry.
We're gonna go over the what we consider the new depth chart for RSL. There's some moving pieces. Um, and then after that, We're gonna talk about the U.S. national team. They have a couple of friendlies coming up, and what that means for a couple of RSL players. If you haven't heard, yeah, great round of applause. Emeka Eneli and Diego Luna getting their call ups.
It's about time. It's about
Eneli
time.
getting his first call up, and then we'll end with actually some of your Instagram questions. And this one should be fire. In fact, I think there's one question that we really want to dive into. So,
Mhm.
without further ado, let's get into this transfer news. I need your guys' first opinions of the exit. Actually, it's not official yet because we haven't seen the farewell from RSL, right? But it's
But anything that comes from Tom though is practically official.
He's good. Like, he's good.
Yeah, he's good at his job. So apparently, Crooks is on his way out to Hull City. Who
Which
isn't?
unfortunately, if you look at Hull City, they're in the championship. They're bottom level of the championship.
But I guess let's just dive into this. Christian, give me your first thoughts on Crooks' exit, and yeah,
I mean, I'm a fan of Crooks. I like the dynamic he brings to the team, the size he brings to the team. We don't have a lot of big players, especially on the offensive end of the ball. Um, and yeah, like Marcos doing a little bit of research, looking at where Hull City is right now. Hull City would not even Hull City would be bottom of MLS right now with how they're playing. Like easy. So my hot take on this, if this comes to fruition, which it probably will, I think it's the end of Matt Crook's career.
it might be his last stop, Hull
It'll
City.
be it'll be his last stop. Now, he obviously he's British, and one thing that a lot of people notice is that his wife stayed in England and he came to Utah by himself,
Hmm.
which means his wife didn't want to uproot and come to Utah, which it kind of makes it hard to have a family in one spot and a career halfway around the world.
Oh yeah,
And so I can obviously see the appeal for Matt to, you know, go home.
yeah.
And but this will kill his career. He's not going to win any titles with Hull City. He's not going to make anybody's radar on Hull City.
I mean, but
And
was he really looking to make anyone's radar really in his whole career?
I think
I
at the end,
mean,
I think at the end of the day, I think going off Christian's point, I think he's just mostly doing this for his wife and his family's case because he's what, 33, 34 years old.
That old? Really?
so old.
No, I think he's 30.
30? Okay, around that age, but yeah, he had a decent first year for RSL, tall player, but I feel like he didn't use his size to what RSL fans wanted him to use a size for. but we hopefully the best of luck for his adventure in Hull City. It's
Hmm.
going to be good for him to back to his home country, back with his family, back with his friends. So
Hmm. I don't know. I have a lot of mixed opinions on this one. Like the family part, I'm not going to even argue with. That's
Right.
obviously the reason why he's going back. That's the
yeah,
obvious one.
yeah,
And but here's my thing. And before his announcement that well his it's not even his before this rumor came up that he's going to be leaving to Whole City, my biggest question was who would be the starting attacking midfielder for this upcoming season? And I commented on someone's comment on Twitter saying that I didn't think that Diogo was better than Crooks. At least that's how it seemed towards the end of or at the end of the season. Do we lose some quality with Matt Crooks leaving?
Of course.
yeah, absolutely. It's like the same thing with Anderson Julio leaving. We lose a quality player coming off the bench. Yes, I kind of see where you're coming from with Crooks being slightly better than Diogo, but I feel like with Diogo, he brings that speed and I guess that I don't want to say better soccer IQ with playing with Chicho up top because we saw in a couple of games with Diogo and Chicho playing together that that pair was so precise together.
I
But
might disagree.
actually, I was talking to a friend about this, um, and talking about, pairings and, who does Diogo match up well with. And honestly, this is the irony is palpable here. He matched up really well with Crooks when they played on the field
Yes.
together. That's
That,
just like,
that's what I'm saying. Like when
oh,
when when you had Diogo playing on the left and Crooks in the middle, there was a lot of stuff going on. And so that's why my first instinct when I saw Matt Crooks' announcement, I was like, ah, crap. That means we're down to one attacking midfielder officially. We'll get into the depth part, but Diogo is our attacking midfielder, and from what we saw at the end of the season, yeah, I was like, that's our DP. Also, just to clarify, Matt Crooks was not a DP.
No, no.
Clarify.
So a lot of people on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram were all freaking out. They're like, "Oh my goodness, we're losing a DP." No, no, not at all.
Well, I think they're
He
freaking out because they thought that we could go out and get a DP
no,
because
no.
he was
I
leaving.
think he just held on to that international spot. That's all
No,
it was.
he didn't even have an
No,
international spot.
no.
no,
According to RSL's website, he didn't even have an international spot.
Interesting, interesting.
Yeah. So it's like we had a really expensive attacking midfielder. That's all.
So obviously Diogo will be our, I guess, our only starting attacking mid. Then who's the backup? Because some people are saying Pablo Ruiz, but Pablo Ruiz is
Uh
not
uh apparently, according to FotMob, Pablo Ruiz is now an attacking midfielder. I don't know when that
that's
happened.
convenient.
Yeah, it's weird. Conspiracies. Um but so losing Matt Crooks and is huge for me. I think
Hmm.
if it wasn't for the family issue, I think this would have been a bad look on the club, to be honest, because he has a
Oh
contract
yeah,
through 26, if I'm not mistaken.
correct.
So that
Correct.
means that means he has a buyout that I'm familiar with the price. And so if Hull City is gonna buy him out, I wonder what that price is gonna be, and it's probably gonna be less than what we're paying him.
probably.
And
Yeah,
that's not that's
unfortunately.
that's not good. So this was like a used car lot, and we just lost on this one.
And
Yeah,
and 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 the thing is too, one thing I absolutely love about Matt Crooks is that, I mean, obviously he conflicted because you could tell he loved the club. He loved being here. He loved playing for the badge, playing for Real Salt Lake, and he was in his tenacity. Do you know where he sat in yellow cards for the season?
Where
7.
7 yellow cards?
huh? I did not
He
realize that.
he
What?
he was feisty.
He was. He was.
He brought in that. He brought out the pub brawler.
Nice.
Definitely, definitely. I am gonna miss that mindset that he brought, being
Hmm.
able to. people were expecting him to be this high scorer, being that attacking mid, but no, he was just that silent killer who would be aware of where to pass the ball, finding Luna, finding Chicho up top. So that's what we're gonna miss, and that's what Diogo needs to bring right away if he's gonna be our attacking mid.
Can you tell everyone that we love Matt Crooks? I'm trying to find the other side because I know there's people listening. They're like, that's a bunch of bull. You guys are talking
Matty
bull.
Crooks, Matty Crooks. We won't be able to sing that now.
Yeah.
Just,
No, but I think there's gonna be a lot of people listening to this be like, I don't know what these guys are talking about. The guy didn't do jack for us. He didn't move around. His passes were meh. His space awareness wasn't there. His positioning was horrible. He couldn't head a ball. He couldn't jump.
For those people who are
Uh-oh.
anti Matty Crooks, I would say go to FOTMob, look at his ratings, and look at his stats at different games. Like then you'll realize how solid of a player he was this season.
Yeah, he was a solid player, and that's what we're gonna miss. In fact, the oh this I had this thought, and this I might get some um crap for this. So people there are some people who was throwing out that Matt Crooks was really slow. He wasn't really positioned well, and he just didn't do a lot for the team. May I remind you that we have had many slow midfielders and ones that were really loved by the public.
Kyle
Be-
Name,
Beckerman.
Beckerman.
thank you. Oh my gosh, we're all in the same boat. Beckerman, guys, Beckerman pissed me off all the time. How he was overly aggressive. His passes were his pass accuracy was it seemed
well,
like
well,
bleh.
it's because he had Javi up top, which made up for that quickness.
Well, actually, let's get into. Well, let's not get into it. I'm not going to get into it. I was going to say once Javi left, Beckerman was kind of just meh, MIA.
It was more walking. Yeah,
He because I can't remember what year Javi left, but it was after the 2014 World Cup, and Beckerman after 2014
Mm.
World Cup kind of just meh. He was a good MLS midfielder, not a upper tier. So
exactly.
so those that are complaining about Matt Crooks, think about Kyle Beckerman and leave your bias aside and think about what kind of player Beckerman was. And I think we're pretty comparable. I don't know.
Yeah. All,
Let's
all I can say with now the departure of all this it's going to get really interesting to who's going to be the next man up
well
off the
let
bench for Diogo, whether it's Pablo Ruiz, whether it's one of these rookies. The list is long, so that's where I'm interested to see. Like come next week when the guys report back to camp on Monday, that's when it gets serious.
yeah, like this weekend they're coming back.
Oh,
Mhm.
they're already starting to trickle in. You know who's already back in Utah?
Uh,
Marcos's favorite,
Dominic,
Dominic.
he
He
was playing
posted
Fortnite today.
I didn't see a
crazy
Dominic
what
in.
what a 19-year-old will do.
Hey, I'm down for that. In
But you
fact,
know who's not back yet in Utah?
Chicho.
Chicho.
Chicho's I don't expect him to be back until this weekend when he has to check in. I'm just saying I would be enjoying that weather over there instead of freezing my butt off.
It's not that cold
It's below freezing.
right now
Well,
because it's night.
well, during the day it got up to 34, was it?
It did.
38.
It did.
Well,
Yeah.
34 in my place. It's cold. But let's get into this depth chart stuff. And let's think about who our starters are and who their backups would be, because there's a couple of key departures that put into question who is going to be filling in as backup. So obviously we have Chicho up top. That's who we're going to assume
Mhm.
is going to start. Um, who is his backup?
It's gonna be Elias.
Elias. Yep.
Yep.
The new guy from that we got from New York. That's definitely. In fact, I would even go out on a limb and say that they actually might be switching back and forth when Chicho is not up for it, especially with these first 2 months when we're going to be doing Wednesday, Saturday for about four or 5 weeks in a row.
I was gonna say I wouldn't be surprised. This is way stretch ahead. First game of the season at San Jose. If we see Elias start, because obviously we go to Costa Rica.
You are n not wrong. Actually,
I that makes a lot of sense.
that's a really
Good
good
for you.
round of applause. Now,
We're still a month out, but I wouldn't be surprised. First game of the season, we see, I guess, B team RSL going against San Jose's A team.
I mean, it's pretty true. I would say the same thing, especially since we're going back-to-back road games. We're in
Mhm.
Costa Rica, then we
San
have to
Jose to
go
San Jose.
San Jose to San Jose, and then finally we're at home. So I can see that. So we have Chicho and Elias. There we go. Backups for each other. Does Elias play any other position by chance? Just striker? Just
Just
striker.
striker,
Just
just
striker.
striker.
Okay, cool. Um, so then let's move up to the wings. Who is backup to Diego Luna?
It's gonna be Wolf.
You think it's gonna be Wolf? I
Wolf
guess
for Lachlan.
No, because Lachlan's only a right
only?
mid.
Really? Is he only right? He is.
So he's back up to Dominic.
Mhm.
That's it. That's interesting. But are there any other right midfielders that we brought on? I don't see
I
anyone else.
believe that's it.
Oh shoot, are we really that thin?
We're thin right now, man. Especially if you pull up RSL's official roster on the website. I mean, midfielder, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14,
What?
15 midfielders based off the RSL website, 2 goalkeepers, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 forwards. And then defenders, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's it.
Huh. All right. So
We're
then what?
paper thin.
Right, right.
You're all about the songs today. So we have Diego Luna on the left, and you're saying Tyler Wolf as a backup. Eek. I wonder.
Why else would we have brought him over? Because he was playing consistent minutes over there in Atlanta. So they
That's
play similar positions. So
that's true. Well, he wasn't getting consistent, but he was off the bench quite often. Um, hmm. That's interesting. I wonder though, with Matt Crooks leaving, I wonder if we're going to be using that money to maybe get another. I'm throwing it out there before the transfer window closes, another winger.
Yeah.
well, they better hurry. We got a month.
Now I thought transfer window ends in April.
Well, I'm saying if they want to get it before the first game.
Nah, at this rate, I don't know.
They
But
could be targeting somebody in Europe, and they're just going to let finish out the season, or basically finish out the season.
Most likely, most likely.
quick question, random off the ball topic. Beverin is part of our little, what do you call it? Um, the oh my gosh, club associate. There we are. Are they associated with us? Beverin?
Name does not ring a bell.
Why does that name seem so familiar? Because I thought it was under like the Crystal Palace, Botafogo, and we had like a couple small clubs.
It could be. The name's just not ringing a bell.
I only
That's
mentioned
a
that
Belgian team.
right, and I only mentioned it because I thought RSL was associated with him because that's where Tyler Wolf went out on loan for a little bit. So I was just throwing that out there. Anyways, right side we have Dominic. He's gonna start,
And then
and
Easy.
Lachlan.
Lachlan's gonna back up. But Dominic, man, I think he's gonna have one heck of a year.
Oh, all the confidence coming into this after his senior national team appearances and scoring against Portugal. That's sucker Ronaldo. Um,
Yeah, his confidence is like super high right now, and I'm here for it. I'm
and
all
the
for
fact that he's here already, as of this recording, January 8th, for our blind listeners who may be listening on the 9th or beyond,
it. Mhm.
um, the fact that he's here this early is showing that he's ready to work. He's ready to get going. He wants to hop in. I think he wants a title with the team.
Oh, yeah, him and Lachlan arrived a couple of days early because they're ready.
I freaking love Lachlan Brook. Like,
Same. Same.
What a cool kid. He plays his heart out whenever he's on the field. Like that's the spirit.
Yeah. And I guess if you're gonna go on that note, Pablo Ruiz is already in town. Diogo is in town. I think most of the players are in, with the exception of the obvious one. But everyone is coming in ready. So the backup for Diogo, then, that's gonna be a hot topic right now.
I think
Uh,
at the moment it's going to be Pablo Ruiz,
I've
in my
got two
opinion.
choices.
Oh, let's hear
This
it.
is gonna be a little controversial.
Tell me.
So Pablo Ruiz, I definitely agree with that one. I also can see Nelson Palacio rotating in there. When they're in a more defensive mindset, if the team's in a good position, they want to pull Diogo off to not necessarily park the bus, but beef up the defense. It's going to require formation shift, but you bring off Diogo, put in Nelson. Nelson is more of a central midfielder rather than an attacking midfielder, which means that he'll push if he needs to, but he'll sit middle to low field to help control the center.
Okay, I can.
I see where you're coming from. Obviously, if RSL is doing so well and they want to play defensive, that's not a
Hey,
bad idea.
optimism.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea to use Nelson in that situation.
Um, the only thing I have an issue with is that I think he's the first in line for as a substitute for Ojeda and Anelli.
Sure.
If we're going to be sticking with the 4-2-3-1, which at this rate, how they're gathering players, it's going to be that way. I don't see us maybe switching in like a Nelson at the attacking midfielder. I can definitely see at this point in the ball game, Pablo Ruiz being that backup for the attacking midfielder. And and I guess the crappy part right now. Looking at everyone that we have via FOTMob, I don't.
Bottom is not up to date.
I know FOTMob's not up to date, but I just don't see very many options right now. With that line of three, the attacking midfield and wingers, it's really thin, like you were saying, Christian.
And
And
I
that
guess I guess with all these positions, not just the attacking mid, that's what the preseason's for, to figure out who's going to fit in what spot, throw different rookies with veteran guys to see how they're going to gel on that pitch.
Well, I mean, get this. Emeka started at right back,
Yeah.
and during the
Mm.
preseason,
Oh yeah,
they started messing with him and put him at defensive midfielder. Look where he is today.
yeah, first game of the season last year at Inter Miami, that's where he played.
Is that where he played?
Yeah, against Inter Miami,
Mhm.
he played right back.
Yeah, he played right back. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And but after that game, I think they moved him to defensive midfielder.
yeah, exactly.
So
And that leads into a question I have for you too.
do it.
Ooh, I'm ready for this.
So
This is a
because
blind question.
we're looking at the preseason, we're looking at the players coming back.
Hmm.
They're in town already. They're coming back into town. Please hop on the podcast. And so here's my question for you too. This was posed to me by a friend and an avid listener of the show. How many players and who do you think come back to training at the fitness level expectations Pablo sent them home with?
How many players come back to fitness level?
And who?
I
Uh,
think do I have to name multiple or can I just name one?
I'll leave that up to you.
I'll name one that I feel like is going to come back for sure at fitness level is Brian Ojeda. I think he's going to come back for sure. He is Mr. Consistent for me.
yeah,
Period. I mean, there's no
2,600, almost 2,700 minutes played.
yeah. He most minutes played on the team, so I think he's going to come back at the same fitness level. If I were going to go flip the question on the opposite for me, I worry a lot about Chicho
Mhm.
naturally because he's supposed to be the star player and how last season ended and with other factors, that's what I'm most worried about. So there you go. Those are my positive and negative.
All right, Marcos.
player I think that's going to come back in the best shape, or I guess in shape. From what I've seen on Instagram, I'm going to say Justin Glad.
Mm.
So, and then I agree with Alan. I say Chicho. That kind of worries me. I feel like we saw towards the end of last season. He was kind of, I feel like getting a little bit of a dad bod. So those are my feels.
Though I do have a second one for behind Ojeda is definitely Pablo Ruiz. He has been
Oh,
working hard. For all of you that follow him on Instagram, he was working hard in Argentina, and I think that's going to show. And I think that might uh, cause a good battle for the positions that Pablo Ruiz can play, either defensive midfielder or attacking midfielder.
Well, and I think the other obvious two, they're obviously not with the team, but is Eneli and Luna. Those two are putting in the work right now with the national team and just showing from last season to right now.
Yeah. It's true. Well, I guess Christian, let's flip the question on to you.
I mean, for me, just to I don't know, to bring up somebody different. Um, o- Obviously, seen a lot of good work. I mean, actually, Catranis. I think he's going to come back in great shape. Same fire under his belly. He's another player who loves this team, cares about the team, will fight for the team. If you're his teammate, he will die on a hill for you. And I I I agree with the whole Chicho thing. A player I kind of worry about a little bit is actually Javane Brown, but it's not for the reason you think.
Bring it.
He just had a kid, so he's been
Right.
at home. So it's not he. I'm not definitely not saying he's been lazy or anything, but he had a new layer inserted into his life that he has to figure out, and
Hey,
so
hey, I've taken paternity leave before.
and
It did me a number.
congrats to him. But
Definitely.
yeah, that's the now. Could he pleasantly surprise me? Absolutely. I'm always happy. I'm always open to that. Uh, and another player I do expect to come in good shape just because of timing. Elias Manuel,
Yeah.
hot off the MLS Cup, chip on his shoulder. I hope he's got the biggest chip on his shoulder.
Yeah, I hope he doesn't turn out to be one of those forwards that just walks around. That's my biggest fear is that when he gets on, he just ends up being like the Espindola of the end of his RSL
Mm.
career.
Right.
Oof,
Right.
oof,
Yeah, Espindola at the
oof.
beginning of his RSL career,
Oh, he was
Oh,
dynamite. He was dynamite.
but Espindola at the end was just like, oh, bro, come on. Um, and since we mentioned Chicho real quick, I do want to talk a little bit, going back to the transfer news, about the rumors that have been going around about Chicho. I'm not going to clarify anything because I don't have anything, but I do want to ask you guys what you guys think about this rumor, Christian.
I don't trust the sources. So well, I think the rumor itself is unreliable. That doesn't mean it won't spur some thoughts in his mind.
Okay.
Um, I think, what I think Chicho got frustrated somewhere in the season, and and with him, he's obviously getting a little bit older. He's clearly planning for
Post
um,
RSL.
post RSL, post soccer in general, back in Colombia, and um, so the, and he's got a kid that's growing up. He's like what 14
Looks
ish
like it,
years
yeah.
old. So, and he might be thinking, tra you know, living in the U.S. and Mexico and the U.S. and sometime in Colombia may not be the best thing for his kid. So he might be thinking about all these different factors coming together, and he could end up back in Colombia after his contract is up with RSL.
Yeah.
Now, will it happen early? I don't think so because I if he finds his spark again, he'll be unstoppable.
Oh yeah.
But that's the if, right?
Yeah. Big if Marcos.
First, I think you just can't believe everything that you see when it comes to these rumors or whatnot. I believe that Chicho, I think his contract's done end of this season. I think at that point, I think he's gone from RSL. because he'll be at the end of his career. I don't think he wants to finish up in MLS. I think he'll want to go back to Colombia, finish up somewhere with a club there. But who
Mhm.
knows? Just like what Christian said, maybe he is kind of thinking the what ifs. What if I go here or there? But I guess stay tuned.
Yeah, I think the following. I think there's some validity to the rumor, the fact that he wants to go to Nacional. I think that it's not out of the realm of possibilities. I agree with you, Christian, when you said that he's not leaving during this season. It's too expensive for Nacional to get him out right now.
Mhm.
Even though the rumor said that the Chicho party is willing to put forth money, I think that the rumor that we heard that came from, I mean, I'm not trying to down us, but another YouTube podcast. Um, but I don't know where their sources are from, but I mean, it doesn't surprise me if those conversations have been had. If I were Chicho, I obviously would go back to my home country. I want to play in Libertadores. I want to try to win something. So I don't know. That's I just wanted to make sure that everyone knew that. Well, that's what we think about Chicho. That's
I think that if this is for sure Chicho's last season, and on a high note, like go balls to the wall this season and just go crazy scoring goals.
oh yeah, oh yeah.
Agreed.
He needs to do what he can to
Break that record.
please break that record. Just get 18 goals, please.
I
But
mean, a player of his caliber, a player of really of the caliber of a lot of players that we have, because honestly, I think we tend to forget as fans, we have a lot of pretty high caliber players play for Real Salt Lake. The best, if your next step that you see is getting out of the club, why not set yourself up for success? Do the best that you can
oh yeah,
Absolutely.
and present yourself so that when it is time for you to leave, whether it's a natural thing, whether you choose to, whatever, you can be like, hey, look at this resume, rather than, Chicho going to the Colombian League, be like, yeah, so you know how I've got a name and stuff. I scored 3 goals last season. I'm a pretty hopping striker. And Lachlan Brooks in there, like, I scored 5. And I'm
I
Australian. Um,
can you imagine? No, but you're right. I mean, looking back at when we got him from Pachuca, he was only with Pachuca for less than 6 months. He scored 7 goals in I don't know how many games, but it wasn't a whole lot that was going on. And so I can see where you're coming from with that. But apparently he's really loved in Colombia, like super loved. Doesn't matter if he does horrible here. Everyone wants him back in Colombia. I mean, he's hanging out with national team players all the
yeah.
time. So he's not a no-namer for sure. So I guess yeah, well Marco said more to come on Chicho. So speaking of national teams, um let's talk about US national team. Um this is yeah, first off, this is really exciting. The the Diego part, I think all of us have expected. I think January camp is Diego's
About
camp.
freaking time.
It's a year apart from the last time that he was on the national team.
But guys, get this. I understand that this is really big news. I'm going to be the Debbie Downer on this one. But there are also, I think, if I'm not mistaken, I didn't look at it too closely, but I think this is an all MLS camp.
It is. It is.
But it's not a Debbie Downer thing because this is normal for this time of year. It's
Right.
one of the arguments against MLS and the timetable for their season, offsetting the international schedule, is that the January camp is very heavy in MLSers. But this happens every year.
Right. And so I don't want to get into this conversation, but I'm just going to plant the question in my head. Does this diminish the actual call up for Diego's for Diego's I guess what how do you want to say it? For his wanting to get up to the first team, does this diminish really his shot?
No.
I would say no. But if we're comparing Eneli and Luna, who has the better chance to eventually make the senior national team, I would say Eneli because you look at those in who play Luna's position, that's kind of a tall order to beat out those players. So is it going to happen in the next year or two? I don't see it. It's a long stretch, But with this January camp, this roster is usually the roster that goes and plays in the Gold Cup. So that's a good news for Eneli and Luna. If fingers crossed that if they do well in this January camp, they can eventually make that roster.
Actually, and that's a kind of a conversation I did want to bring up with you guys with Eneli being called up. Eneli was spectacular last year. I think one of the front runners for team MVP.
Hmm.
Um, does he eventually get a permanent spot on the national team? I'm not sure who is all in his position. And in fact,
So he's in the same realm as Tyler Adams,
Yep.
defensive midfielder from Bournemouth, who's captained the U.S. men's national team a lot, who's been riddled with injury, and he is the only player. And Nelly is the only player, especially from what I see, who's been called up here that
mhm.
fits that role.
Yeah. In fact, I was going to try to do a quick comparison of Anelli and Adams, but I think on a obviously personal opinion, I think Anelli has more to offer to the U.S. national team than than Tyler Adams at this point. They are the
Well, well,
exact same
well,
age.
he'd also have to beat up players like Yunus Musa. He plays the same position as
Mm,
Eneli.
Musa plays a wing.
Musa's yeah, Musa's a wing. He's a or a central midfielder, not defensive. They are different.
But I guess that depends on the formation that the U.S. national team plays. I mean,
Correct.
I'm not sure what recently they've been playing, but if they're playing with a defensive midfielder or two, I think that Nelly should be in the discussions for the cycle for 2030 World Cup. Or if he does really well in this and Pochettino really likes what he sees with Nelly, who knows? He maybe could be the 2014 Kyle Beckerman that Beckerman snuck into to that team, doing really well 2012,
And
13.
he dominated in South
He did.
Africa
He did.
until Jurgen Klinsmann's like, hey, you know that formation that's been working all tournament? Guess what? I'm gonna mess with it.
Yeah, yeah, and 2014 he did really well too, in Brazil.
I'm not saying that the chances are gone for Anelli, but it's going to be a tall task for him
You
to
mean
beat out
Luna?
the. Oh yeah, Luna. Yeah, it's going to be a tall task for Luna. Anelli, there's a small glimmer of hope that he
Well,
might
eh,
might come off the bench, but be
okay,
a bench
Mr.
guy.
Okay, Dr. Pessimist. But you also have to take a look at there's unfortunately some bias on this team as well. Public fan bias. I'm not saying Pochettino bias because Pochettino hasn't been in charge long enough for us to see that bias yet. But you see, Benja Kremeski's been called up,
Hmm.
who for if you're not familiar, plays for Miami, plays alongside Messi, had a breakout year, but I don't think he's good without Messi. Same with
Yeah.
Drake Calendar. Drake Calendar's overrated. Um,
That one honestly surprised me that Calendar got called up. Like, yes,
it's
this is
it's
this
it's the it's the Miami effect. That's
yes,
all it
this
is.
is the Homer side of me. I would have liked to see Beavers, young blood, up and coming. He had coming off the bench a lot of shutouts. So why not?
So here's another question. I'm looking at I've decided to pull up what FotMob has for the U.S. national team roster, and let me
Hmm.
throw you out some names, and let me ask you if Eneli could beat them out. Okay, Weston McKennie,
Hmm. No.
Argos.
I give the edge to McKinney.
Okay, Busio.
Yes.
Uh,
Um,
they're both very similar. Both.
I won't do Aronson. That's attacking. Tessman.
Maybe.
I'm gonna go Anelli.
Let's see. Who else do we have? Eunice. Oh yeah, actually Musa, Marcos. I know Musa has been playing winger, but Bob has him as a defensive midfielder. Does Anelli beat out Musa?
No,
No.
no.
Okay, so potentially. we're looking at Eneli going up against, and granted, there's also B, C teams that have
Hmm.
really good players. Like also, I forgot about Johnny Cardoso.
Hmm.
Yeah, he beats out Cardoso.
He does.
Yeah.
Okay, so then the only two that he wouldn't beat out, according to this, would be in your guys' eyes, McKinney and Musa.
Yeah, two solid players right there, and that's gonna be tough to beat those guys.
I understand we have like bias because we love RSL and we think Eneli is doing really well. But I really think there's a fighting chance for Eneli to be on the first team maybe next year. Well, maybe by the end of this year.
Are we buying Eneli USMNT kits?
Yes. Like I'm a huge fan of Eneli wherever he goes at this point. Um,
Except for
and
the Crapids
except for the Crapids.
and Galaxy.
Except for all
Facts.
of our enemy teams. And in fact, that's another conversation we could have. Does Anelli leave RSL at the end of this season? Leave out contracts. Does he leave because of his up and coming um, worth? Right now, FAMOB has him worth 1 million. He was
That's it. It's
he
it's definitely gonna be higher at the end of the season.
he
Oh
was
yeah.
worth. I obviously I don't have the history, but I think he was only worth like 200 at the
Hmm.
beginning of last season.
Correct. Correct.
So I'm just saying, I think I think
There's
this
a good
might be
chance.
RSL's last season with a lot of players. I think the 2026 season might not be a good season.
Oh yeah, come next season. That's gonna be our rebuild season.
It's going to be a rebuild too. Looking at how many players are doing well right now, there have also been rumors floating around. Like when I say floating, like out there, that Ojeda might go back to Europe because he's doing really well too. He's consistent.
Yeah.
And so you have a lot of players that are doing really well and consistent that need to go in order to keep improving. And Nelly is one of them, and I think Nelly has to go. I don't
And
care.
and, and that and that's how you get looked at by Pochettino, the other guys to eventually make that senior national team because yes, there's quality players here in the MLS, but if you want to have that good pedigree to be playing against the best of the best, you want to go elsewhere, off to Europe.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that Nelly's next step is off to Europe. So I guess let's maybe glide off a little bit off of Nelly, even though we sound really obsessed with Nelly, and I really love him. But we got to
And
talk
Nelly,
about
if we're gonna have Anelli on this podcast, I'm telling you.
at some point. Don't make promises, but at some point we have to. But Luna, the Luna talk is
Oh,
still
that's right.
going on.
Luna made the national team too.
Well, yes. So, but his argument apparently is stronger to some people
Mm.
for going to Europe. For me, I'm not sure. But let's go into this Luna talk. Luna, I'm not sure when his contract ends, but does he leave this season?
Yeah, definitely. He's gone.
Definitely. Oh shoot.
Not not
Definitely.
not
Ooh.
not this summer. I'm gonna say end of the season.
Uh-huh. Now, yeah, I'll give my opinion after that. Christian.
I mean, it's going to be the same argument as I said last week. It all depends on play.
Yeah.
Play balls out? Yes. No? Another year or two.
To be honest, I think this season, I think Anelli might be the surprise transfer if he gets transferred. He's going to be the surprise that goes jumps to Europe and not Luna.
Mm.
I think that if Anelli keeps playing the way that he's playing, and his stock has risen faster than Bitcoin, um, Bitcoin 2010.
Oh, not
um,
not 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 Bitcoin now.
no, Bitcoin's bad now. Um, I
Not
think
investment advice.
that's true. I'm no yeah. Anyways, I think the earliest we could see Anelli leave is this summer, and that's a hot take for me. I think if we want to get the maybe not the most out of him, actually that would probably be the most out of him. We would sell him at the same time as we did Gomez, beginning of August.
Interesting.
And I think there will be a lot of mid-table English Premier League teams that would love to have him as their defensive midfielder.
Absolutely, absolutely. His rookie season, he was getting compared to Diego Chara, so he is a workhorse.
No,
He's a
no, he was getting compared to I can see his face. Not Diego Chara. He played for Columbus. Oh my gosh.
Darlington Nagbe.
Thank you.
Darlington Nagbe.
Nagby, thank you.
Nagbe is
Um,
one who should have gone to Europe that never did. He was one of my favorite players outside of RSL to watch.
yeah, another one, Mr. Consistent. He's very similar to Brian Ojeda, to be honest. But I, I think I'm getting, and maybe I'm biased, but I'm getting less convinced of Luna going to a major European team right now because of the inconsistencies during the season. He's a good player. I'm not going to take that away from him. Great player. Just that game time performances maybe need to be more consistent and more high level.
I see that. So with Luna and Eneli obviously going to camp, does that kind of upset you guys that they're not going to be with RSL to get
Not at
ready
all.
for training because they're not going to be able to, I guess, be with Elias, be with Dominic, be be with these newer players.
I am I'm not worried because th those two in particular, their chemistry is good with the team.
Hmm.
I'm not worried about chemistry with them and the team being able to adapt. That's part of the reason RSL let them go. He's like, yeah, no, they'll be fine, and because they're gonna stay in shape, gonna get good minutes in against and particularly hostile environments for the national. Um,
Right. They have to.
and
Well, I mean, they're playing against Venezuela first off.
Venezuela
Venezuela's
is good
yeah.
and vicious.
And then against Costa Rica.
So the Venezuela game, Marcos asked me, "Do you think Venezuela's going to bring their B team?" I
Yeah.
think yes, yes,
It would only make sense.
but it doesn't take away from the fact that their B team are also players that are playing in South America. They're playing in Libertadores. They're playing in high intensity competitions. Whereas our MLS players, not a lot of them have seen CONCACAF. They haven't seen much
Mhm.
international ball. So this is a really good opportunity for them to step it up. And against Costa Rica, that's just a interfederation rivalry. It's not
That's
obviously
a big rivalry though.
right. It's not Mexico US, but I think the next one for us is either Panama or Costa Rica
Hmm.
for
Yeah,
sure.
I'm
Canada's
hoping.
creeping up there.
Yeah, you look at the roster of players that got chosen for this camp. From what I saw, there's only four midfielders, so the likelihood that we'll see Nelly and Luna on the pitch at the same time very high,
Hi.
which makes me really happy to see.
I mean, I don't know what the probabilities are because there's a lot of different
Oh yeah,
combinations.
obviously
But
there's mixing and matching
but
like
I
you
mean,
but
do.
right now I see honestly a two a 2-3-4-1.
what?
Wait, is my math right?
You mean 4-2-3-1?
Yeah, 4-2-3-1. My bad.
I was like,
A
you're
two three
mixing
four. Oh, they're going heavy on the attack. They're all starting. Um,
2-3-1-4. That's a great lineup.
Those poor
Um,
two defenders in the back line by themselves.
oh my gosh. So yeah, that's
Tim
a
Ream can do it all.
yeah, he can. Oh shoot. Is Tim Ream really playing?
He is.
Oh, he's
Oh sh
It's the MLS camp.
oh shut up. Oh my gosh. Well,
Why do we know Jordan Morris
oh, can I do a little quick little thing about Jordan Morris? Apparently he was just given DP status by Seattle.
along with Albert?
Yes, because he completed his season goals from last year, and part of the stipulation in his contract is that if he meets his goals, they were going to give him DP status this season.
Hooray!
That guy for me has been a total fail as a striker for the national team.
He was expected to be playing in Europe right from the get-go, but that
He
was a bust.
he had a chance to go to Werder Bremen. I remember
Hmm.
this.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
It was either go Werder Bremen or renegotiate with Seattle. He decided to renegotiate with Seattle, and he has not grown since.
Do you know why? Because Daddy's the athletic trainer at Seattle. He
And they
didn't
have
want
not
he
gotten
he didn't want to leave.
Well, and they haven't gotten a new coach since.
To be fair, he is a good coach.
I beg to differ. I don't think he's a good coach. I think. Oh, never mind. I'm not gonna get into that subject. That's a really deep one. We're gonna have that conversation in person. I want to have it in person. Um, let's um let's finish this all off. Let's answer some of your guys' Instagram questions.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, I'm excited about this one. Um, so sorry for all the Crook questions. We're gonna skip over those because I think we answered a lot about Matt Crooks. So
Yeah.
let's go into the other ones. Marcos, lead us in.
So this is a long one, so I'm gonna get right into it. So, do you think that RSL could do more recruiting from different leagues, meaning Brazil, Belgium, Holland, Argentina, from these leagues to help improve the quality of our team?
Oh, you gotta read the full question, man.
Is that the whole thing?
That was not the whole question. Read
Dude,
the
do
A
whole
the whole.
few
question. This
Read
is
it.
a phenomenal
This is a
question.
great question.
a few episodes ago, there was a discussion on where RSL fits in the power rankings of leagues from around the world. MLS
MLS.
was number 9, with leagues from Portugal, Brazil, and Belgium just above MLS, Holland and Argentina just below MLS. Do you think that RSL could do more recruiting from these leagues to help improve the quality of the team?
I mean,
Absolutely.
the answer is yes. Now, they want in depth. Where do you think you would find more talent? I'm gonna leave that one to you, Christian. Where do you think you'd find more talent for RSL?
Um, that's a phenomenal question to add on top of that. Um,
Because it almost seems like whatever style you like to play, that's where you're gonna.
yeah, and that's the um that's the kicker. I think we could probably steal from Holland a bit. The Dutch league has it's a good development ground, and so is I've called RSL the Borussia Dortmund of MLS.
Okay,
Competitive and good at sending players off to better teams and leagues. Um, I would honestly love to see us nab some more from Brazil,
okay, I can
and
see that.
especially on the attacking side, um, because even with Chicho has been the step in the right direction for the type of striker we need, and a Brazilian could be the answer. I would love to say an Argentine to be the answer, but I don't think we're going to be able to really steal any Argentine strikers. Um, so
Yeah,
Brazilian.
I
RSL. Sorry, go ahead.
Now,
no,
are we
I
going
was
to get Neymar? No, we're not getting him.
No, obviously, I like the idea of going to different leagues, Holland, Argentina, Germany, wherever, to get players. But I'm for one, I don't like getting different players from different leagues because we've seen that happen in the past, and it's hard for them to gel together. Having Hispanics and players from England or whatever, like yes, it works. You got different playing styles, but in the end run, I want maybe leaning more to one side.
I mean, I can. I used to have that argument. I think I might still have that argument because I'm totally down for making sure that the culture is pretty pretty much the same within the locker room. So if we're gonna get a bunch of Hispanic players, let's just keep with that same rhythm. The same with if you're gonna get a bunch of Europeans, but at the same time, Europe has so many different countries and different cultures. But beside the point, for me, I wouldn't get players from Argentina right now. There are a lot of players going back to Argentina because the economy is getting better. Um, and and there's a lot of, for example, a lot of former World Cup players from Argentina are going back to their home clubs. We know a bunch they're going back to River Plate. Um, I think there's something to be said about getting players from those countries, especially countries that have had a lot of international success. Brazil, Argentina, Colombia currently right now. Um, those three countries, I would grab players with blindly to come to RSL. In Europe, I'd be a little bit more picky. I we have bad experiences with Spaniards. Y'all remember that one? Otunyo or something like that, or Tunyo. Um, I don't know if we would grab many Brits,
Well, we have bad luck with Italians too.
and bad luck with Italians. The only players I think we would grab in Europe would be the Slovak countries or the Eastern Europeans.
Or German.
More
We've
more
gotten a
Polish
bunch of
players.
Germans.
More Polish players.
Yeah,
Let's get
but
Lewandowski. Let's do it. Let's grab him.
I think that's where we've had success in the past. Um, but to I guess back to the question, would we? Should we? Of course. I think it all depends on what style of play we're looking for, and it looks like at this point right now, they're looking for Eastern Europeans that know how to play fastball, but at the same time, they're looking for Hispanics that know how to play possession. So it's a funky dynamic, but you have to know what kind of player you're looking for in each country. For example, in Argentina, I think and Brazil, I think you're looking at very methodical, very possession based players. Where
Mhm.
I don't think right now that's what we're looking for. We're looking for Colombians that are very direct.
Yeah.
No, definitely. And I think that's where
Aggressive.
our I think that's where RSL is lucky to have Kurt and Jason to be able to have that mindset and that those eyes to know who to look for because they've already grabbed solid players for us in the past, so I'm not afraid. I'm not worried about who they're going to grab in this future.
Yeah, I'm not too worried. And if we
No,
do, if
no.
we do end up picking up another player within the next week or two, highly doubt it. Don't quote me on this. I think they'll be just fine to mesh in with the club, and I think they'd be a really good addition. I don't have any really bad opinions right now about any of our pickups the last year and a half, to be quite honest. So I don't know. I think we're gonna be just fine, um, with whoever we pick up. To be honest, give me another question.
Do you think we'll use the same tactical formation this season?
Yes,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think
I think we'll start with it.
and I guess
I
depends on who leaves during the season. Might change.
I for one, I would obviously love the 4-4-2 diamond to come back, but that's not going to come back. It's just going to stick with that 4-2-3-1.
We have too many defensive midfielders for a diamond right now. In fact,
That,
we
that's
have
that's
too
fun.
many defensive midfielders for a 4-4-2.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because if that's the case, you have to play a 4-2-2-2.
4-2-2-2.
Yeah.
4-2-2-2. Next question.
This person says, "I'm watching a lot of Premier League. Good for you. That's a good league to watch. Do you have a favorite team?"
I mean,
Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. Glory, glory, Man United. As the Reds go marching on, on, on.
So Christian is a United fan. Alan and I are both City fans.
so but asterisk on my fandom. I don't. I'm not like a team follower. I'm not a. I don't subscribe to a team because back when I was what 10 years old, back when Beckham was playing, I loved watching United. So I don't subscribe to a team. Um, but I do hold on to memories, and Man City has a memory that I love, and they've also had my favorite players go through their club.
So Alan's a typical Utah fan.
I'm a typical Utah Lakers fan. Also, another asterisk, don't like the Lakers. So there you go. Next one.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Don't tell me we're gonna end on this.
No, 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 no. There's more after this, but
Okay. Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes.
no, I'm gonna say a hot dog is a hot dog.
So here's the thing. We have to go by the cube rule.
It's the cube rule.
Oh, there's a whole website on it,
Oh
cuberule.com.
no.
And according to the cube rule, a hot dog is a taco. So we will move on from there. Uh,
That's it. Next question.
Okay, okay. I did not know, but okay. This next one. Does a straw have one or two holes? Is it one continuous hole or a hole on each side? Okay, this is the last of the dumb questions.
I'm not gonna lie, everyone's a little bit bored in the off season. A straw
A
has
straw has one hole, everybody.
It is
yes,
a long hole.
it's a cylinder. Yes,
That's a weird phrase to say. It's a
yeah.
long hole.
Don't,
Look at me in the eyes when you say that.
It's a long hole.
Okay. Ugh, I need to take a shower. All right.
next,
Okay, what's happening behind the scenes? We seem to be selling, but no incoming.
guys. I wish we had all the insider stuff, but we're a fan podcast.
We don't operate the team.
Though we wish we did. If the team were operating the way I operate my team on FIFA, bro, we'd be winning like everything.
Said every FIFA
It
manager
even
ever.
Right?
we'd be winning even according to the mayor of Chicago. We'd be winning the World Cup. Y'all remember that?
hmm
And there's a
Schweinsteiger,
reason
Marcos.
reason I don't play FIFA.
What?
I no, no, I would do a terrible job managing my team on FIFA.
You'd probably be like my son and put it on amateur level.
Build up my self-confidence. That's what I would do.
Nice.
Here
Give
we
me
go.
another one.
Last question, unfortunately, because the other ones were all about crooks. So this is the
Okay.
last one. Who does the RSL Bros want to interview the most?
Anelli, there we are.
And Nally,
Anelli.
100%. We want to grab him before he becomes too popular for us to
I want to
grab.
grab Anelli, sit
Wait,
him down.
hold on. Phrasing.
Reword that.
We're gonna make sure Anelli is here so we can talk to him and
Okay, thank you.
ask him some questions.
Virtually. We're going to keep him away from Marcos, everybody. They will be in separate buildings.
Everyone will be safe. No worries. But yes, Anelli, we that'd be a really fun conversation to have. I from my perspective, I loved his background of basically just playing college soccer, getting a great education, and worrying about that first, and then digging into soccer, and then excelling like way above everyone's expectation on the field.
Super smart kid too. Super smart kid. He went to Cornell.
Well,
So
Yeah. So there we go.
there you go.
Thanks
there you go.
everyone for those questions.
Another
That was fun.
another week of solid questions. Some random questions, but wow.
Oh, guys. Well, that's all for us today. That was a lot. Holy cow, we did a long one. But
Is this therapy?
this is soccer therapy.
This is soccer therapy.
This is MLS soccer therapy because there's other games going on. For instance,
Oh, we could talk Premier League, Bundesliga.
La
We're
Liga.
not going to talk League Un. We have pride.
Yeah,
Um,
we have dignity.
We could talk indoor soccer. No, we're not.
No, we could talk my son's soccer. By the
hey,
way,
also, quick shout out talking about other soccer. The Royals are starting up again soon, and two of the Royals players are called up to the women's national team camp.
boom.
Ali Sentnor again and Mandy Hott, goalkeeper. So shout out to y'all.
Ali Setnor, if she keeps excelling, watch out. She might be one of the leading goal scorers for the U.S. national team in their history.
Not surprised.
Ooh, you heard it on RSL Bros. Take that, Royal Riot. I'm just kidding. We love you guys.
Shots fired.
We love you.
By the way, my daughter, she does hearts like how does she
She
do
does
'em?
like
Oh,
she
does
does
she
like
do this?
Oh, that one. Yeah, she does that one.
no,
Ugh.
she does. That's the Di Maria heart.
This is the Di Maria heart. She does the Gen
The Gen Z,
Gen
Alpha.
Alpha. Gen Alpha.
Gen Alpha.
Ugh.
But guys, training camp starts officially Monday and Tuesday. So it's Monday and Tuesday. Is it weird? Soccer is almost back.
It's not weird at all. We're ready. My body is ready.
I'm feeling it. Bring in the soccer.
Hey, and you know what that also means? We get to see y'all at tailgate soon.
We are less than 50 days till RSL is in Costa Rica.
Hopefully, we can bring y'all some more interview questions, pressers, more awesome experiences this year. I hope you're ready for the season, y'all. because we're ready.
Yeah, this one's gonna be absolutely redonkulous. Um, this might be one of our best seasons. But then again, every season we say that. Just saying. Also, by the way, I'm trying to look up when was when was the last time Chicho scored? How long has it been? And
Oh gosh.
where's my counter? I'm not leaving this until I find my counter.
Oh, I've got it.
You've
I've
got
got it. It's an open tab on my phone. It's stayed open.
Shut up.
Oh yeah. You ready for this?
Do
I'm
it.
ready.
186 days, 2 hours, 23 minutes. Oh, sorry, 24 minutes.
Wow.
186 days.
As of January 8th at 10:24 p.m. Mountain Standard Time.
That is more than in a school year.
You heard
Chicho,
it.
I saw you score in that street soccer game. You got it in you. Chango, vamos.
Let's do it. Marco, send us off.
You guys, soccer is back. We are next week's training camp starts with RSL. We're right around the corner. Make sure if you guys are not already, head over to Twitter, head over to Instagram, follow us at the RSL Bros. Listen to us wherever you catch podcasts on Apple or Spotify, or just watch us right here on YouTube.
Excellent. Tell a friend, because
Tell a friend.
these conversations are starting to get a little bit interesting.
Oh, we're having fun here. And we're going to continue to grow. So, hope to see y'all soon. Interact with us on social media.
That's true.
Love you. Love you.
Lo-
You
love
guys
you. Love you. Bye.
be a friend.
Bye.